This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you in part by the Naperville Sun.
Metea Valley girls soccer coach Pat Feulner, a big regional victory for you guys in the regional title game against Plainfield North. You go back a couple weeks before that, these two teams played before. You guys not on the good end of a 4-0 score. What could you guys kind of take from that and maybe implement to a 1-0 victory 2 weeks later?
Well, when we played Plainfield the first time, we were looking at some of the things that they did well, and one of the things that we noticed was they like going forward. They like running their forwards into areas where they could get balls, turn on you, and then play their speedy kids in behind you and get in behind you and cause you a lot of problems. We kind of let them do that to us the first game. I hate to say we let them be successful, but in a way we did. We knew we had to do some things to take those players out of the game, and in the second game we implemented it. And if you noticed in the second game, their forwards didn't have an inch of room to move. Every time they checked back for a ball, we had a defender strapped to them, and it took them out of their game. And when they didn't have that space to play, all of a sudden they had to play their midfielders, who really didn't do a whole lot, and it just kind of took them out of the rhythm of their game. So it worked, and to the girls' credit, they carried it out, and we had the success we had.
And talking with a couple of your players after the game, it seemed like a big motivating factor for them was, trying to prove wrong that 4-0 score. Was that a little bit of a card you guys as a coaching staff could play there?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we talked to the girls after we actually analyzed the film. We saw that it was a 10-minute period of time that we really just lost the game in. It was 10 minutes, and when we actually analyzed the remainder of the game, we found we had outshot them. We had almost double the time of possession, and we actually played pretty decent. Had we finished our chances, we almost could have come back and tied the game. But so yeah, we did, and the kids, we didn't even have to say a whole lot, to be honest with you. Our warm-up, I don't think I heard a sound. It was, you could tell the kids were focused, they were ready to play, and they did a real nice job of preparing themselves.
And you mentioned a 10-minute stretch there. It seemed like for you guys, the first 10 minutes have been key this year as far as, either getting on the board or shutting out some of these offensive teams, where you guys have been able to put out some of your best efforts when that first 10 minutes kind of goes as scripted.
Yeah, one of our team goals at the beginning of the year that the girls set up was that they wanted to score a goal in each game in the first 10 minutes. And they know how important it is to get out in front and to get the momentum on your side. And it seems like that's kind of been really our story all year. If we can get that goal in and get going, we tend to score in bunches. And it happened with Nequa when we played Nequa and came back from Nequa. It seemed like after we scored that first goal, it just ignited us, and even though they'd score, we'd come right back and score again. And like I said, it seemed this year that once we can get on the board and get going, we can get them in bunches in a hurry. So.
And you talk about the offensive numbers, that's definitely something that jumps out when, looking at your guys' record this year and, the schedule. What's your guys' offensive philosophy that you're able to put so many balls in the back of the net?
Well, I've never been a defensive-minded coach. I've always been I guess maybe it comes back to my coaching football days, that I'm very offensive-minded. I love to attack. I hate to sit back and let teams come at me. I try really, my philosophy is to try to keep them on their heels and keep them in their end as long as I can. And if we can keep them out of our end, we'll have pretty good success, especially when you have an all-state keeper like Geldernick and the defenders that we have. So we like to keep teams on their heels and like to go at them. And we work very hard in practice on our offense and our runs and our possession and going at people. So we're not going to sit back on anybody. We're going to attack you, and we're going to come after you, win or lose. And we're actually, as a staff, in that Plainfield game, one of my assistants came to me, asked me after we had scored about 15 minutes left, are we going to change up our formation and sit back a little bit? And I told him, no, we're not changing anything. We're going to go at them, and we're going to keep going at them. if they score, fine, but we're not going to change anything. We're going to keep them in their end. And the girls did a great job drawing the PK at the end of the game. Their keeper red carding out and just keeping them bottled up in their own end where they couldn't come after us. So.
How much of that comes with all the substitutions you guys make on offense? It seems like, you're shuffling in forwards, you're shuffling in a lot of those offensive midfielders as well. And, the game-winning goal for you guys is one of those subs to another sub.
Right. Well, in practice, we scrimmage 2 sets against each other every day. Mm-hmm. We don't really have a first group where we're bringing in 1 player or 2 players. We have a first group and we have a second group. Mm-hmm. And that second group is pretty much in tune with playing with each other as much as the first group is. Mm-hmm. They go against the first group every day. They defend against the first group every day. So when we are subbing and it seems like we're platooning a lot of players, we really are bringing in a group of players because those kids play together. This game is a game of momentum. It's a game of rhythm, and the faster, especially a possession game, the faster you can get into that rhythm and get that rhythm going, the better. And I've learned through the years that when you upset that rhythm a lot of times, it's hard to get it back. Sometimes you never get it back in a game. So what we try to do is when we're bringing players out, we're trying to get that group in that play together, that are used to playing together, and then get that, do it in more of a group situation than a 1 player at a time situation.
Now, earlier you kind of mentioned that your back line and your keeper, Megan Geldernick, kind of let you do a lot of the things you guys do offensively. What exactly is it that makes that group back there work so well together and, be so good together?
Well, Alexis Metea, our senior in back, she's center back in back, has done a great job the past 2 years. She's been all sectional 2 years now, all conference 2 years, and has just done a great job to solidify the back line. Sam Butler and her in the middle have played together almost every minute of every game, and they're just solid, very smart, intelligent players in back. On the outside, we've got 4 great athletes, and we've been switching between the 4, and they're just big, strong, talented kids, and with Sam and Alexis' coordination back there and keeping them in line, we do a nice job in back. And then, of course, you got Geldernick orchestrating the whole thing. So it works out well for us.
Now, between, the UEC Valley schedule, with which you guys clinched this year, along with the Pepsi Showdown, which is a giant tournament, so many different teams that we had trouble keeping track. But, you guys are a Final Four in that. You win the UEC Valley this year. How much do those things kind of set you up for this time of year?
Yeah. Obviously, we would have liked to have been in the finals at the Pepsi Showdown. Joe ranked us number 1 coming in and put a target on our back. Mm-hmm. But I think we were up for it. We played a good Loyola team, 1-0 game. I mean, it was a tough game. We give up a goal in 30 seconds, I think, of that game. And we set a record, fastest goal, I think. So we're all about setting records. No, we had a good game against them. It was fun. But yeah, this whole thing has been a building process. But realistically, our goal from the start, we knew we had a good group, and the girls felt they had a good group. And from the start, they said they wanted to make it to the final game. And I think that it was a good, realistic goal for them. They've been working hard toward it. Obviously, the conference championship was big. Mm-hmm. Our first regional, everything we do is kind of a first now, but their goals are even higher. So they're looking at getting to those state playoff games and getting downstate. And I think that with a little bit of luck, we can be there.
Now, your first game here in the sectional against Lockport, I know you guys saw each other in the postseason last year. Yeah. I imagine there's not very much you can take from that. But how do you guys match up? What are you looking at as you ready yourselves for the semifinal this week? Well,
they're a good, scrappy team. I don't really know much about them this year because we don't see each other. Mm-hmm. Didn't see them play. They're, obviously they beat Central, and that says a lot right there. And we did have a good match last year. Went to overtime, and we were lucky enough to get one in overtime. We're expecting a team to come after us hard, that's going to play hard and challenge us. And, other than that, we're just going to do what we need to do. And our system pretty much is set to play anybody. And if we just do what we need to do, we'll be fine.
Well, Coach, it's been a season of firsts so far for you guys. Kind of hope it keeps coming. Good luck later this week.
Thank you.